What is up? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Rolling right into it. This is digging deeper dive into this past Sunday sermon. A little hope for your hump day or whenever, however you're watching this. This past Sunday, we are continuing our walk through the core values here at Tuckasegee. Not just these things that we are trying to be or aspire to be, but who we actually are in Christ as Christians and as churches. Oh, that was good. But the thought process behind it is this, right? Our church is only as healthy as the Christians who make up that church. And so our relationship with God, our pursuit of discipleship is reflected in everything we do as a church. So kind of a convoluted way to get through the importance of what it is that we're actually going through, living out our purpose. We believe we exist to glorify God. We do that by loving God completely, ourselves correctly, and others compassionately, living out God's love in our actions, the love that he has shown us, we show others. Thus, people know, as Jesus said, that we are his disciples. So that PSA out of the way, when we start talking about this past Sunday, we were leaning into this idea that we are growing and grateful. That is one of our values here at Tuckasegee, and it comes from this idea of having patience. And we talked about the idea of really what it is. It's understanding the sanctification process, not just patience with others, but patience with ourselves, this work that God is doing within us. Understand that life in the Spirit is a long game, right? There are no shortcuts. We took this metaphor of gardening, of growing. We're not producing on a production line disciples, we are growing. Churches are, as a friend of mine once said, planted, not launched. You used to always say, oh, we're having a church launch or we're having our launch service. It's like, no, they're planted and it's growing. It's a slow process, and we need to be okay with that time and endurance. And we trust not just the process. A lot of people say, oh, trust the process. Listen, the process is only as good as the person who has developed it. And so we don't just trust the process simply. We trust in the one who made the process. We trust in the promises of God. And so this idea really comes down to patience or impatience, and understanding impatience is a sin. Impatience grows out of our unwillingness to trust and submit to God's plan for our lives. Impatience, short and sweet, is a battle for control. Do we trust God or do we not? Understanding that God's ways with us may not seem the most efficient to us, and they may even think that God's being too slow. But we need to know that God isn't slow. 2 Peter 3:9, he is patient with us and teaching us to show that same kind of patience with other people. And for me, coming into this as an individual, understand that my impatience grows out of my unwillingness to trust God and what he has done and what he is doing. I thought about Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Oh, everything falls on my desk. Sorry. But where it says, right, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean into your own understanding. And a lot of times we think about trust God with the stuff you don't know. And really what it's saying there is not just trusting in God with the stuff you don't know, trust him with what you think you know, right? I think I know best. And so we grow impatient with God because we know how this should get done, right? I know how we should do this. And he's just, listen to me. If you just listen to me, it's like, no, this is God, right? Don't trust in what you don't know, but don't trust in what you think you know too. Really lean into God. Trust him. Trust the process because you trust the promises. And so, in essence, when I was thinking about this for me and how I apply this to my own life, it's focusing on the hope that I have in God. Because I have this hope in him and I trust him, I can trust him with the process. I can trust him with the things that I become impatient with in my own life or the lives of other people around me. It allows me to be patient as God is patient with me. A lot of times we get that, right? Love as God has loved us, forgive as God has forgiven us. We miss be patient as God has been patient and is patient with us, that we are all growing and we're grateful in that process. So I'll end with this, and this is the last part of the verse that we talked about. Our sermon this past week was in 1 Thessalonians 5:14 through 18. And you can go back and watch it, YouTube, Facebook, all those places. But the last part of that, 16, 17, 18, pray continuously, right? or be joyful always, pray continuously, give thanks in every circumstance. Why? Because this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. When we're focused on those things, we are remembering in conversation with Him, in relationship with Him, being joyful in the things that He's given us, trusting and being thankful in everything that He is. It allows us to be patient with the work that He's doing in us, and at the same time, too, to be patient with the work that He is doing in other people, trusting not in our own understanding, but trusting in and believing in God. That's it. That's your word for today. That's your hope for your hump day. Take this, apply it to your life, and apply it and live it out in the lives of other people as you are patient to them. Get in that pit and love somebody today. I hope this recorded because I don't want to do this again.